The BMW E65 7 Series is a car that divides opinions. When it arrived in 2001, it stunned the automotive world with its bold design, revolutionary technology, and full-size luxury credentials. From the sweeping lines and rising door handles to the high-mounted iDrive screen and electronic gear selector, it wasn't just a car, it was BMW's vision of the future. Some loved it instantly, others found it controversial, but one thing was clear: this was a flagship that dared to break all the rules. When BMW introduced the fourth-generation 7 Series in 2001, it wasn't simply launching a new flagship, it was redefining its identity. Produced between 2001 and 2008 at BMW's Dingolfing plant in Germany, the E65 in standard wheelbase form and the E66 in long-wheelbase configuration represented one of the boldest shifts in the brand's history. It replaced the elegant and widely admired E38, a model many enthusiasts still consider one of the most beautiful luxury sedans ever built. That context made the arrival of the E65 even more dramatic. The car was revealed at the 2001 Frankfurt Motor Show, and from the very first moment, it divided opinion. The design direction was led by Chris Bangle, BMW's head of design at the time, with the exterior production design developed under Adrian van Hooydonk. The new 7 Series introduced what BMW called flame surfacing, a philosophy built around complex, tension-filled surfaces with pronounced concave and convex forms. Instead of the restrained, linear elegance of the E38, the E65 embraced volume, height, and visual drama. Nowhere was this more controversial than at the rear. The high trunk line and unusual decklid proportions created a silhouette unlike anything previously seen on a BMW flagship. Critics were quick to react, and the nickname Bangle became part of automotive vocabulary almost overnight. Yet, beyond the controversy, the design signaled a clear break from the past and a deliberate move toward a more avant-garde identity for the brand. The revolution continued inside the cabin. The E65 introduced the first generation of BMW's iDrive system, fundamentally changing how drivers interacted with the vehicle. Traditional rows of buttons were replaced by a centralized rotary controller and screen interface. At launch, the system was widely criticized for being complex and unintuitive, but in hindsight it marked the beginning of a digital transformation that would eventually define modern automotive interiors. Technologically, the car was far ahead of its predecessor. It introduced a new electronic architecture with fiber-optic communication networks and became the first production vehicle in the world to use the ZF6HP 6-speed automatic transmission, a gearbox that would later become one of the most influential transmissions of the 2000s. In 2005, BMW presented the facelift. This revision subtly reworked the exterior to create a more refined and cohesive appearance. The front end received redesigned headlights and a more upright, pronounced kidney grille, giving the car a stronger visual presence. At the rear, the trunk and taillights were reshaped to appear more integrated and less abrupt than the original version. Inside, material quality was enhanced, and the iDrive system benefited from important software improvements that made daily operation more intuitive. The facelift also coincided with significant updates to the engine lineup, further modernizing the car and improving both performance and efficiency. Looking back today, the E65 and E66 stand as some of the most debated luxury sedans ever produced. They challenged expectations, disrupted tradition, and forced BMW customers to confront a radically different interpretation of what a 7 Series should be. Loved by some and criticized by others, this generation remains one of the most important and transformative cars in BMW's modern history, a flagship that refused to play it safe. Unlike its predecessor, the E65 generation was engineered from the very beginning to project a stronger visual and physical presence on the road. BMW built the car on an evolution of its large rear-wheel drive luxury platform, designed specifically to support increased electronic integration, higher structural rigidity, and a broader range of powertrains than ever before. The standard wheelbase E65 featured a wheelbase of approximately 2,990 mm, while the long-wheelbase E66 extended that figure by around 140 mm, bringing it to roughly 3,130 mm. Importantly, the extra length was added entirely to the rear passenger compartment, not the overall front or rear overhangs. This made the E66 particularly appealing to chauffeur-driven clients and executive buyers who prioritized rear seat comfort. In key markets such as China, the Middle East, and parts of Europe, the long-wheelbase version quickly became the dominant configuration. Dimensionally, the E65 was larger than the outgoing E38 in nearly every direction. It was longer, wider, and noticeably taller, a decision that directly influenced both interior packaging and exterior proportions. The increased height contributed to the controversial rear design but also allowed for a more commanding seating position and improved ingress and egress, a subtle but important factor in the luxury segment. Structurally, the body made extensive use of high-strength steels combined with aluminum components in the front-end structure, suspension elements, and various chassis parts to manage weight distribution. Despite the car's increased size and technological complexity, BMW maintained its traditional near 50:50 weight balance philosophy, preserving dynamic capability alongside comfort. Aerodynamics were carefully optimized for a vehicle of its size, achieving a drag coefficient of approximately 0.29, which was impressive for a large luxury sedan in the early 2000s. This contributed not only to fuel efficiency but also to high-speed stability. An essential characteristic for a flagship developed with Autobahn performance in mind. The E65 was exclusively offered as a four-door sedan, reinforcing BMW's decision to keep the 7 Series strictly focused on the full-size luxury segment, positioning it directly against the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and Audi A8 at the very top of the premium hierarchy. Unlike Mercedes-Benz, which offered coupe derivatives in the S-Class lineage, BMW reserved two-door luxury variants for the 6 Series. However, within the sedan format, buyers could specify a wide range of configurations, from relatively restrained executive setups to highly optioned rear seat luxury environments featuring individual rear seating, ventilation, power adjustment, and extensive wood or leather trim combinations. Another important aspect of this generation was the integration of advanced chassis systems. The E65 introduced dynamic drive, BMW's active anti-roll stabilization system, which significantly reduced body roll during cornering without compromising ride comfort. It was also available with electronic damping control and self-leveling rear air suspension on certain variants, reinforcing its dual personality, limousine comfort combined with surprising agility for a car of its size. Overall, the body configuration of the E65 and E66 reflected BMW's ambition to redefine its position in the full-size luxury sedan segment. This was not merely an executive car competing with upper mid-size rivals, it was BMW's direct answer to the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and Audi A8. Larger, more technologically advanced, and engineered to combine limousine-level comfort with genuine rear-wheel drive dynamics, the E65 embodied BMW's interpretation of what a modern full-size flagship should be. Bold in presence, innovative in engineering, and unmistakably positioned at the very top of the brand's hierarchy. When the BMW 7 Series E65 E66 entered the market, its engine lineup showcased both technological ambition and a wide range of performance characteristics tailored to different buyers, from diesel efficiency to V12 flagship power. Throughout its production life, BMW continuously refined these engines, and the distinctions between pre-facelift and post-facelift variants are significant. In the early years of the E65, 2001 to 2005, the petrol range began with the 730i, powered by a 3-litre inline-six producing 231 horsepower and 300 Nm of torque. This 6-cylinder let the large sedan accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in about 8.1 seconds, with a top speed of roughly 237 km/h, and its combined fuel consumption sat around 10.6 to 10.8 litres per 100 km, respectable figures for a flagship sedan of its day. Above it, the 735i featured a 3.6-litre V8 delivering 272 horsepower and 360 Nm. Its extra displacement and 6-speed automatic transmission allowed the car to reach 100 km/h in approximately 7.5 seconds and achieve a governed top speed of 250 km/h, while combined fuel use remained in the vicinity of 10.7 litres per 100 km. Stepping further up the ladder, the pre-facelift 745i was equipped with a 4.4-litre V8 producing 333 horsepower and 450 Nm, which pushed the 7 Series to 100 km/h in about 6.3 seconds. Its fuel consumption was around 10.9 litres per 100 km on the combined cycle, reinforcing that this was not just a luxury car but one with genuinely sporting performance for its size. At the pinnacle of the range sat the 760i and 760Li, powered by BMW's advanced 6-litre V12 engine making 445 horsepower and 600 Nm. This engine turned the enormous sedan into a remarkably swift cruiser, whisking it to 100 km/h in around 5.5 seconds and onto its electronically limited top speed of 250 km/h. However, all that V12 refinement came with a thirst to match. Combined consumption under the ERA's testing methods was in the low to mid 13 litres per 100 km range, a figure typical for large displacement 12-cylinder engines of the time. Diesel power in the pre-facelift years was led by the 730D, driven by a 3-litre inline-six turbo diesel producing 218 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque. Its refinement was backed by surprisingly strong performance, a 0 to 100 km/h sprint in about 8 seconds and a combined fuel consumption figure near 8.5 litres per 100 km. This made it an appealing choice for long-distance travel where efficiency mattered as much as luxury. In the pre-facelift diesel lineup, positioned above the 730D, BMW offered the 740D, powered by the 3.9-litre E66 twin-turbo V8 diesel. This engine produced 258 horsepower and 600 Nm of torque, figures that were extremely impressive for the early 2000s. Despite the substantial weight of the E65, the 740D could accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in approximately 7.3 seconds, while maintaining a governed top speed of 250 km/h. What made it particularly compelling was its balance between performance and efficiency, with combined fuel consumption rated at around 9.5 litres per 100 km. The 740D was aimed at buyers who wanted V8 smoothness and torque-rich performance without stepping into petrol territory. Its massive mid-range pulling power made it an effortless high-speed cruiser, especially on unrestricted German highways, where diesel torque delivery proved perfectly suited to the car's grand touring character. After the 2005 facelift, BMW evolved these powertrains to deliver more performance and, in some cases, better efficiency. The updated petrol entry point, the 730i with a revised 3-litre engine now producing 258 horsepower and 300 Nm, enabled the 7 Series to sprint to 100 km/h in around 7.8 seconds with a combined fuel figure closer to 10.1 litres per 100 km, reflecting modest gains in efficiency and response. A new 740i replaced the earlier 735i and 745i V8 configuration with a refined 4-litre V8 making about 306 horsepower, giving the big sedan strong mid-range performance while keeping fuel use similar to the outgoing engines. Beyond it, the 750i and 750Li represented the post-facelift petrol V8 leadership, a 4.8-litre unit producing 367 horsepower and around 490 Nm. These cars sprinted to 100 km/h in roughly 5.9 seconds, with combined consumption of approximately 11.4 litres per 100 km, balancing outright pace with the realities of flagship luxury car weight. The V12 remained unchanged at 445 horsepower and 600 Nm in the facelift period, continuing to deliver flagship-level acceleration and refinement at the cost of higher fuel consumption. Diesel evolution brought a stronger 730D with 231 horsepower and 520 Nm, capable of accelerating to 100 km/h in about 7.8 seconds with a combined consumption near 7.9 litres per 100 km, an impressive balance for such a large sedan. At the top of the diesel hierarchy in facelift cars was the 745D, a bi-turbo 4.4-litre V8 diesel producing around 299 horsepower and a hefty 700 Nm of torque, enabling a surprisingly brisk 0 to 100 km/h time of about 6.6 seconds with combined fuel consumption figures around 9 litres per 100 km, remarkable for a vehicle of this size and luxury level. Across both phases of the E65 E66's life, what emerges is a powertrain lineup that offered something for nearly every luxury buyer's priorities: refined smoothness from petrol sixes, muscular thrust from large V8s and V12s, and highly efficient torque delivery from advanced diesels. All were matched to BMW's 6-speed automatic gearbox, ensuring that power delivery was always smooth and appropriate for the limousine's character, whether launching confidently from a standstill or cruising comfortably on the autobahn. The BMW E65 7 Series wasn't just a new generation of BMW's flagship, it was a technological and luxury showcase that redefined what a full-size luxury sedan could offer. At the center of this innovation was the iDrive system, a radical rethinking of vehicle control that replaced a forest of buttons with a single rotary controller and a large dashboard display mounted high within the driver's line of sight. This positioning kept the driver's eyes closer to the road while operating climate, navigation, audio, and vehicle settings, and it was the first production system in history to combine so many functions into one high-mounted screen. Adding to this sophistication, the E65 could be equipped with keyless access and start, allowing the driver to unlock doors and start the engine without ever inserting a key. Doors and the boot could feature soft close technology, ensuring every closure felt effortless, while some configurations offered an electric boot with push-button operation, reinforcing the car's full-size luxury character. The E65's lighting and visibility systems were equally advanced. It offered bi-xenon headlights with automatic level adjustment, automatic rain-sensing wipers, and, in certain markets, automatic light activation, providing seamless operation under changing conditions. The E65's attention to detail extended to even the smallest touchpoints, such as its exterior door handles. Unlike conventional handles, they were part of a sophisticated electronic comfort access system. When the vehicle was unlocked, LEDs integrated into the handles illuminated, guiding entry into the cabin. The handles themselves did not operate through a simple pull. Instead, they were equipped with sensors that detected pressure and hand presence, activating the door latching mechanism electronically. This system created a smooth, effortless opening experience, distinct from traditional mechanical handles, and would later appear in BMW models such as the X5 and E60, where it was known to require careful calibration due to its complexity. Steering wheel-mounted paddle shifters, 2 in front and 2 behind the wheel, allowed manual gear changes for a sportier driving experience, while park distance control offered animated visual feedback on the iDrive display, providing precise guidance in tight spaces. Multimedia integration was revolutionary. CD and DVD stacks were neatly concealed in the dashboard and fully controllable via iDrive. On long-wheelbase E66 models, rear-seat entertainment screens in the headrests provided independent media playback, one of the first production sedans in the world to offer this feature. These systems ran on the MOST fiber optic network, allowing multiple users to operate media simultaneously without interfering with the driver's controls. The interior was designed around maximum passenger comfort. Massive armrests housed controls for seat position, heating, ventilation, and massage, with massage functions operated via dedicated buttons in the armrest, not through iDrive. Front passengers could enjoy individual ventilation control, while rear occupants had access to a built-in refrigerator, making the cabin a true mobile lounge. The center console was both beautiful and functional, sculpted in real wood or high-quality veneer, with a hidden retractable telephone keypad and 2 storage drawers for personal items. BMW offered an extraordinary range of interior finishes, including multiple color schemes from mono to striking two-tone layouts. Among the more striking combinations was blue on the dashboard and steering wheel paired with cream leather, complemented by wood trims ranging from light to dark matte. Through the BMW individual program, owners could access even more exclusive finishes. Options included Piano Lac Schwartz, Natural Poplar, Rubin Poplar, Walnut MR1, and Maritime Line, all real wood, meticulously crafted. Some very rare custom configurations, sometimes referred to in the community as Yacht Edition, were created aftermarket by specialized firms, elevating the 7 Series to bespoke levels with premium real wood, unique ornaments, and in some cases a 2-tone steering wheel, though these were not official BMW production editions. All of these features: advanced electronics, revolutionary driver and passenger interfaces, luxurious seating, personalized interiors, and high-tech convenience made the E65 a full-size luxury sedan ahead of its time. While complex and requiring attentive maintenance, the car set new benchmarks in comfort, technology, and customization, influencing the direction of luxury sedans for years to come. The BMW E65 and E66 were engineering marvels, but their groundbreaking technology came with a cost, complexity often translated into maintenance challenges and reliability concerns. Among the most discussed issues was the iDrive system, which, while revolutionary, could exhibit glitches, freezes, or calibration errors, particularly in early units. The rotary controller could wear over time, and the reliance on the fiber optic network meant that even minor wiring faults could disable multiple functions, including audio, navigation, and rear seat entertainment screens. The park distance control with animated display represented another innovation that could sometimes be temperamental. Early sensors could misread surfaces, and wiring or module issues could cause the visual display in iDrive to malfunction or show incorrect proximity cues, leaving drivers relying solely on the audible warnings. While a step ahead of older parking distance control systems that only produce sound, it introduced a new layer of electronics prone to faults if the car had not been properly maintained. Other electronic systems were equally ambitious and sensitive. The electronic parking brake could fail due to motor wear or cable stretching, occasionally leaving the brake engaged or preventing automatic release. The electronic gear selector and steering wheel mounted paddle shifters could also malfunction. Sensor or wiring faults might cause the transmission to enter fail-safe mode or prevent manual shifting. Even exterior quirks, such as mirrors folding at an unusual angle or LED illumination in door handles, occasionally failed due to electrical issues. Suspension systems were another common source of problems. Many E66 models featured self-leveling rear air suspension or dynamic drive active anti-roll stabilization, which relied on sensors, hydraulics, and actuators. Aging air springs, leaking hydraulic lines, or failed control units could lead to sagging, uneven ride height, or reduced handling performance. Non-air suspension models with electronically controlled dampers could also experience sensor or valve failures, causing rougher ride quality. On the mechanical side, engines had their own challenges. Early V8 units like the pre-facelift E62 were known for valve cover gasket leaks, cooling system wear, and occasional Vanos unit issues. The V12 E73, while extraordinarily smooth, came with high maintenance costs, particularly concerning ignition coils, spark plugs, and oil leaks. Diesel engines, including the twin-turbo M67 V8 in the 740D, were generally robust but could suffer from turbo actuator faults or EGR clogging in high-mileage examples. Small but recurring issues also included unresponsive rear seat electronic controls, failing multimedia connections, and non-functional illuminated trim. Even with diligent care, repairs often required specialized knowledge and sometimes expensive modules, reflecting the car's advanced electronic architecture. In essence, the E65 was a car where technology and luxury were inseparable from complexity. Owners willing to maintain the systems carefully were rewarded with unmatched comfort, innovative features, and performance, but neglect could lead to a cascade of issues. For many, the car remained a thrilling and prestigious driving experience, but one that demanded respect for its sophisticated electronics and engineering. The BMW E65 7 Series remained some of the most iconic and controversial sedans in BMW history. From the bold, sometimes divisive design penned by Chris Bangle to the sweeping technological innovations, this generation of 7 Series represented both a leap forward and a challenge for traditional luxury car buyers. Its exterior, characterized by flowing lines, dramatic proportions, and unique gestures like rising door handles and folding mirrors, announced BMW's willingness to push the boundaries of automotive styling. Inside, the car offered a level of luxury and personalization rarely seen before. iDrive with a high-mounted screen, electronic gear selector, electronic parking brake, park distance control with animated display, rear seat entertainment with headrest screens, and fully integrated seat comfort controls including heating, ventilation, and massage, all creating a cockpit and cabin that felt futuristic even years after its debut. Under the skin, the E65 combined powerful and technologically advanced engines with innovative chassis systems. From efficient inline-six units to V8s and the flagship N73 V12, and on the diesel side from the 730D to the torque-rich 740D and 745D, the lineup offered a choice for nearly every buyer. Each engine was paired with BMW's 6-speed automatic transmission, often featuring paddle shifters for manual control, providing the performance and refinement expected of a full-size luxury sedan. However, this technological ambition came with complexity, and maintenance could be challenging. Issues with iDrive, electronics, suspension, the electronic parking brake, or engine components were not uncommon, particularly in high-mileage vehicles or poorly maintained examples. Despite these challenges, the E65 left an indelible mark on the luxury segment. It was the first production BMW to introduce so many world-first systems, from high-mounted iDrive screens and headrest displays to electronic gear selectors and animated parking sensors. It set new standards for comfort, connectivity, and passenger experience, influencing competitors and shaping the evolution of flagship sedans across the industry. In the end, the E65 was a car of ambition and contradiction, loved for its innovation, performance, and luxury, yet criticized for its complexity and divisive styling. For those who embraced its vision and cared for its systems, it delivered an experience unmatched by most contemporaries, a full-size luxury sedan that dared to redefine what a flagship could be. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the BMW E65, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more automotive reviews and classic car stories. We want to hear from you. What do you think about the E65's bold design and groundbreaking features? Let us know in the comments below. Your thoughts could spark the next video in our series.